WWE Great Balls of Fire 2017, every match ranked from worst to best. Forget the controversies surrounding the ridiculous moniker of WWE's latest PPV event, tough though that might be, and Great Balls of Fire was actually a fairly decent showing, low expectations and all. Sure, Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe didn't exactly serve up a barn burner of a main event, and it was the mid-card that once again stole the show, but after all the jokes and all the declarations that this was destined to just be a time waster until next month's SummerSlam, it was a surprisingly solid showing more often than not. Yes, the lack of title changes makes it easy to snidely state that nothing of significance happened, but within that framework, this wasn't bad at all. 9. Heath Slater vs. Curt Hawkins. Result: Heath Slater scores the win. Somehow, because the producers cut backstage to the rescue attempt on Braun Strowman trapped inside the ambulance, showing how little anybody remotely cared about this one. 226. Rating: it was hard to concentrate on this match too much when its random inclusion clearly signaled that the main event wouldn't be going long, and it's even harder to rate it when the finish wasn't shown on air. Plus, it lasted just 2 minutes, much of which was spent in rest holds, so how was it possible to get invested in what was going on? 2/10. Enzo Amore vs. Big Cass. This didn't really need to be a super competitive match, so it smartly ran short and favored Cass all the way as it totally needed to. It wasn't particularly exciting or interesting beyond the novelty of seeing two former teammates fighting, but it did what it needed to story-wise, establishing Cass as a monster heel and milking Enzo's never-say-die attitude. It'll be interesting to see how Enzo holds up from here, though, as Cass is clearly the breakout talent of the pair. 5/10. 7. Bray Wyatt vs. Seth Rollins. As far as openers go, this was competent if not especially interesting. It picked up with some more visceral brawling later on, especially when Bray damn near killed Rollins on the apron, but it just wasn't a great match to get the crowd hyped up for the rest of the show. At least the right man won and Wyatt's heel tactics made sense, but it would've been nice to see him pull off a smarter, less cliché dirty leading to the Sister Abigail that didn't make Rollins look like such a goon. A fine Raw match, basically, but not a memorable PPV bout by any means. 5/10. 6. Intercontinental title, The Miz, C, vs. Dean Ambrose. Rating: this match had a pretty sluggish pace from the outset, with way too much resting, which helped it feel like an above-average TV bout for the most part. The finish was pure typical, unimaginative heel shenanigans through and through, and one could argue aspects of the match were grossly overbooked, especially in the final stretch. Still, overall it delivered a decent if not particularly memorable bout, yet it's clear as day that both of these men need to start fighting other people ASAP. 6/10. 5. Raw Women's title, Alexa Bliss, C, vs. Sasha Banks. Rating: this was an entertainingly scrappy and physical match with palpable desperation felt throughout, but it also lacked that extra special something needed to make it more than just a rock-solid women's PPV match for the most part. The super lame heel ending definitely ended up working against it, coming just as the match seemed to be starting a potentially riveting final sequence. A damp script conclusion to an enjoyable if slightly underwhelming whole. 6/10. 4. Universal title, Brock Lesnar, C, vs Samoa Joe. Well, it was clear this wouldn't be a long fight due to its late start, and it was vaguely annoying that the table spot happened before the bell rung, but on the whole this was a smartly booked and exciting sprint of a main event. Mercifully it wasn't just a suplex fest as many feared, and Brock's suplex reversal out of the corner was actually pretty great, but after so many short matches Brock probably should have gone the distance here. One gets the impression that WWE didn't want to blow the A+ version of this match on such an inconsequential PPV, so maybe it should have been saved for a flagship event, like SummerSlam, instead. Still, it was thrilling given the allotted time, and did a stellar job making both men look absolutely savage. 6/10. 3. Ambulance match, Roman Reigns vs Braun Strowman. This one certainly made good on its stipulation, delivering a physical fight that was low on nuance and high on brawling. It was probably a little too long overall as Strowman tends to be better utilized in smaller bursts, but the selling, brutality and use of the gimmick were all very good. The ending, however, was unintentionally hilarious and just made Roman look silly, but at least it gave Braun the win while Roman also got his big body post-match moment. Both men came out of it looking great, which was the clear goal here. 6/10. 2. Cruiserweight title, Neville, C, vs Akira Tozawa. It's a shame this wasn't on the actual PPV, but as far as pre-show matches go it was very good for the most part. The result wasn't exactly a surprise, but such is the nature of putting title bouts on the kickoff show. The pacing was surprisingly slow, but it was allowed to go a decent length and delivered certainly no less than a TV caliber match. That final sequence was really underwhelming, though, and while Neville's desperate heel tactics made sense, it was such a boring and unimaginative way to close things out. 6/10. 1. Raw Tag Titles, Iron Man match, Sheamus and Cesaro, C, vs the Hardy Boyz. Things got off to an interesting start with the champs' early fall putting the Hardyz on the back foot, and it was surprising that they followed up with a second fall just 10 minutes in. This is a clear setup for an underdog return spot, which of course suits the Hardyz like a glove, with a countout loss eventually leaving them at 1-3 with 12 minutes to go. The final few minutes were laid out extremely well, milking the tension as the Hardyz evened the score, and it really felt like it could have gone either way. The finish was a little anticlimactic, but the two teams carried the 30 minutes extremely well with a rock-solid showcase, even if you can argue it was a bit excessive for the program they're in. That the Hardyz are still conditioned to go this long is nothing if not impressive, though. This was the easy match of the night and nothing really got close to touching it. 7/10.